left-hand side in the front. Just a moment till we get a microphone to you.
I guess since everyone else is still asleep, I'll start us off. Hi there.
There you go. Thank you.
Samuel Hale, UTA Communications. So we asked Coach Kiffin, Derek, and Ryan this question in the first presser. When Coach Saban came in, he said that his favorite Christmas gift was a pair of gold-toed socks. So if you had to get Coach Saban a Christmas present, if you did get him one, I'd love to know what it was, but if you had to get him a Christmas present, what do you think you would get your venerable coach?
You start that one off.
I guess first and foremost, I'll just get them this win first. Yeah, that's an easy question. And then the national championship. So.
I don't know if I'd give him any object or anything. I'd just give him a big hug and say thank you, for giving me the opportunity to come to Alabama.
I'd probably do the same thing.
We got a question all the way in the rear on the right-hand side.
Jay Sarkar, WLNS. This one's for Jake. Jake, from what you've seen on film, Michigan State's secondary, they're a unit that is able to make the huge play when it seems absolutely necessary. So just what have you seen, look at their film, and how are you kind of trying to adjust to your game plan for going up against them?
I think the defense as a whole is real physical. They're going to be where they're supposed to be, and it's going to be a real tough matchup. So we're going to have to just keep practicing what we practice and do what we do, and it's going to be a tough game. So we just got to be ready for it.
We have a question on the front, but we'll get a microphone to you in just a moment. Over your shoulder. There you go.
Jake, with so much, Hondo Carpenter from Spartan Nation, with so much emphasis put on Derek and defenses having obviously to stop him for obvious reasons because he's that talented, it puts the onus on your arm to go win a game. How confident are you as a quarterback? Obviously you can run, but to go back, drop back and read, and it is the importance of getting time from your offensive line.
Whatever Coach Kiffin calls, I'll be happy to run, and if it requires me throwing the ball, throw it. If I need to hand it off, I'll hand it off, and we'll just see how it goes.
Got a question on the outside left.
Jeff Spiegel, WBMA TV Birmingham. Richard, this is for you. Just talk about it. It seems to me like you and Jake have pretty much clicked from the word go. How has that combination worked for you? And just talk about your experience transferring here from Oregon State and how you seem to have made a smooth transition.
Yeah, it was, like you said, it was very smooth for me coming here. Just the summer workouts and everything. Jake kind of helped me out a lot. I roomed with him during fall camp, and I think that's just when our relationship kind of got started. And just all the reps that we've been taking during summer, fall camp, leading up into the season. I think he just got comfortable with me, and I got comfortable with him, and it's just been good.
All the way on the rear platform back there.
Tom Menino, WBTM TV in Birmingham. This question's for Kenyan. I know you've had to deal with injuries throughout your career, the latest of which, of course, against Mississippi State with the arm injury. How important was it for you to get back out there, against Florida, get some carries, and also just dealing with injuries? Is that something you can evolve with as a player and learn how to manage and deal with? Because obviously there's disappointment to get off the field.
It's been tough, but it's tough for anybody. I'm not the first person to have an injury or have to play through being hurt. Won't be the last. I know the guys up here can, testify with that. I think we've all been hurt in a variety of ways this season. And I think that really just is just how our team is this year. We try to just fight through adversity. So going back to the loss with Ole Miss, we just looked at it as a stepping stone, and moving forward, we just try to work through any kind of adversity we had, and now we're just looking forward to Michigan State.
A question on the left side, about halfway back.
Hey Jake, Rick Carley from Birmingham. It was such a cool scene after the SEC game with you hugging members of your family. You got pretty emotional after that game in the hallway afterwards. Can you tell me about the bond between your family and what all those folks mean to you? And I got one real quick follow-up after that.
My family's couldn't ask for a better family than what I got. I've always, had a lot of support from them, and throughout this whole process till I got here, it's I don't know if I'd be here without them and all the support they've given me. So, they mean the world to me, and I love them to death. And so, them being there and being able to share that moment was big.
Real quick, a lot of Bama folks have come to really love you, and they view you as kind of a blue-collar, hard-working, pickup truck driving guy. Well, what kind of vehicle do you drive nowadays?
I drive a white GMC Sierra.
We got a question on the front aisle here.
All right, we're having fun now. So, guys, you have Derrick Henry, the Heisman winner this year. No doubt he's kind of a workhorse back, but workhorse seems kind of a boring comparison for Derrick. If you had to give Derrick an Animal Kingdom comparison, what animal would you compare Derrick Henry to?
I don't know. I've never had that question. I just throw that one out there.
Why not just
makes sense.
our mascot, the elephant? I feel like that kind of matches what he is.
Yeah, they have both really good answers. Say the elephant too, being the mascot and everything.
We got a question in the rear left side.
Just this question is for Jake and Richard. Jeff Spiegel, WBMA Birmingham. All the attention on Derrick Henry, it seems like there's really not much attention on the quarterback and the guys on the outside. Talk about how big those guys have been this year and how the passing game is maybe something that really isn't talked a lot about when it comes to Alabama.
When things aren't open for Derrick and we got to open it up and throw the ball, that's what we'll do, and we'll try to do our best to move it and see what happens.
Yeah, we're obviously it's been fun, playing with the Heisman Trophy winner, and it makes our job a lot easier. All we got to do is block for him, but kind of like what Jake said, when our number's called upon, we're there to make plays, and there's been times where I know, Darius and Calvin and, OJ, we've all stepped up and made huge plays that, really changed the game around.
You're not going to let them off this easy, are you? We got a question in the middle first, then we'll come up here.
Y'all know that something's coming. Obviously you guys are kind of like rock stars in Tuscaloosa. You're the Alabama football team. Everyone knows you. But have you ever gotten confused with someone else? Maybe somebody's gotten your name wrong, confused you with a teammate or a famous person?
Richard, pull your mic up a little closer. That's great, thank you. All right.
I wouldn't say necessarily confused with a story. After our first game, me, Jacob, and Ryan Kelly went to Buffalo Wild Wings, and we're all sitting there at a table, and everyone started noticing, Jacob obviously, and Ryan too, because he's been there for a while, and he's just starting center, and so there's this couple that came up, and I was like, hey, can we get a picture with all you guys? And we're all like, oh yeah, and I'm about to stand up, and this lady hands me the phone. Was like, hey, can you take the picture of us? And I was like, yeah, I got you. I think she thought I was like Jacob's brother or something. So, yeah, it was kind of funny.
You guys want to comment?
I know last year I got hurt, obviously, so I didn't play the majority of the season. But near the end of the year, Blake was getting a lot of recognition, so I got confused a few times for being Blake. So there's a couple of pictures on Facebook I know that he has that that probably pop up on his Facebook of me that probably people were taking and saying, oh yeah, I just took a picture with Blake Sims because I ran with it. I really did. I'm not going to lie. I don't think there's too many times that people turn down the opportunity to get confused with being a quarterback for Alabama, even if you already play on the team.
Jake, you got anything to add?
I don't know. Whenever I'm compared to somebody, it's usually these guys making fun of me. So somebody that looks real goofy that I don't want to look like. So, no, not seriously. No, nobody's ever, not that I can remember, confused me with somebody else.
Got a question halfway back on the left.
Jake, Rick Carley from Birmingham. Can you talk about the development of Lane Kiffin as the OC? We always talk about player development, but what has he meant to you? We don't hear from him often, and he spoke just a couple minutes ago. I'd like to get your perspective on it.
Like you said, I think it's more about the offense developing and just gaining more chemistry. And I think he does a great job of calling plays that really play to the strengths of our offense and the strengths of each guy individually. And he finds matchups that are favorable and his play calling has really made things a lot easier on us.
Question in the rear left.
Yeah, Chris Priest, WIT in Birmingham, coming off of that. He had mentioned a lot earlier this morning about he felt differently because he let his other coaches do their job more. Have you seen any difference this year from last year in any kind of coaching style whatsoever? Jake, start with you.
I think he's gotten laid back, but I also think that all the other coaches have a better understanding of what he wants. And, they've all just gotten more comfortable with the style, with the play calling style and the technique and what Coach Kiffin wants. So, I think he's been able to, lay off a little bit because they all have an understanding of what they need to do.
Got a question on the platform on the left.
This question's for all three. I guess I'll start with Jake first. But Reggie Ragland said the game where he realized you guys might be able to do something special this year was the Texas A&M game. Do you agree with that, or is there another game that stood out where he said, okay, we really can make a championship run and we can do this?
I kind of felt like it was a special team before the season started, but I guess, the Georgia game kind of stands out to me. It's kind of when everybody just kind of came together and, we realized, our backs were against the wall and we had to perform no matter what. So, to me, I think the Georgia game was the one that kind of opened everybody's eyes.
In my opinion, I think it's the Ole Miss game that we lost early in the year. And I think that's because with the adversity that we faced, we were able to keep battling back time and time again, and it really showed how we were able to battle through adversity with having 5 turnovers and still having almost a chance to win the game at the end. So I think that's, in my eyes, where we really got the confidence in, okay, well, we lost this game, but we're not going to lose any more games after this and continue to work hard. And we already know that we can battle through, the toughest adversity that we possibly can face and, putting ourselves in a hole. And we can continue to be the team that we know we can be.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with Kenyan. Just the Ole Miss game, I mean, like you said, we had 5 turnovers and still had a chance to win at the end of the game. And, I don't care who you are, but if you're in that situation, I mean, you gotta be pretty good. And, we knew that after that game that, we definitely lit a fire under us. And we knew we had to win out. And, we took the most of every opportunity.
Got a question on the middle, halfway back.
This is for each of you. What did you folks get for Christmas?
I got a gun.
What kind of gun? That's all I got.
Well, my little brother, he's 10. He had a bunch of pennies that I guess he just collected over this year. So I had on top of a little package that I had a little envelope. So I thought it was gonna be like a card or something with how you get money for Christmas. And as soon as I picked it up, it was heavy, and I just heard change just swish all through it. And I opened it up, and it was an envelope full of pennies. So So I don't know what's worse, getting an envelope full of pennies or a stocking full of coal, honestly. So I guess I'm being pretty naughty this year. 10.
Honestly, I just got like a bunch of clothes. That was pretty much my Christmas present, just a bunch of clothes.
More questions for our student athletes. Got a question here on the front.
Thank you. So, if you had to give one, what do you think is the biggest misconception of Coach Saban? Obviously, he's kind of very seen as a very straight line, almost robotic-like human, very kind of, trust the process, all that sort of thing. But does he have a kind of a softer side? Does he like jazz or maybe enjoy the beach, or does he like red wine? What's something about Coach Saban that we wouldn't know just from what we see outside, like from a media perspective?
I don't know. When I was younger, I thought he had no personality whatsoever. I thought he was just a mean guy. But no, getting to know him and being around him, he's pretty hilarious, and he's fun to be around, and he's a lot different than he's sometimes portrayed on TV.
Yeah, I think he's really a comedian, honestly. But sometimes, with how he is, his personality, sometimes you don't know, if it's appropriate to laugh or not. So you'll kind of sit there and look around, and then he's up there smile and say, oh, okay, we can, it's cool to laugh at this.
Yeah, I would say the biggest thing is just, he's funny. Just and all the stories he has that he's told us, and kind of just what Kenyan said. You never know when you should laugh or not, just because. I don't know, because sometimes how he tells a joke, he's just straight-faced, and but yeah, once you see him give that little smile, then you're like, all right, yeah, I can laugh.
We got a question on the aisle, left side.
For Jake and Richard, with Scott Cochran, how does he sort of compare with strength coaches you've had in the past, and what's his sort of impact on this team from what you've seen?
For me, I don't see really a comparison. He's someone that I've gotten close with just from, being here the short time. And, he's a huge part of this team, not just strength and conditioning wise. I feel like he's like the glue that really just puts us all together. He's a guy that you can go to for anything, honestly. It doesn't matter what it is, if it's personal or, you just want to go and talk with him about anything. It doesn't really matter. I find myself in his office quite a lot, just talking about, it doesn't really matter. It's just a good person to talk to. But, yeah, I definitely feel like he's the glue of this team.
Yeah, I kind of feel, I feel real similar to that. I think he's big in creating the culture here at Alabama. He's, the way he talks and relates to guys on the team, and his mentality, the way he pushes people, I think he sets a tone for the mentality this team's going to have, and I'm glad to hear he's staying here because I think he's that makes that big of an impact on the team.
We got time for one more question if anybody's got a question. The outside left.
Jeff Spiegel, WBMA. Jake, how advantageous is it to have a guy like Derrick Henry who you can put away a game with by handing it to him time and time again in the fourth quarter?
I feel like most of the games ended up with him. We have a long fourth quarter drive that he just keeps pounding away, and he's a special back to have to just, you hand it to him, and when we need to milk the clock, get the game over with, he's reliable, and he gets the job done. So it's real nice to have a guy like that behind you, that's for sure.
Okay, gentlemen, thank you all very much. Thanks for your answers to your questions, and we'll see you at the game. If you guys want any of this stuff on the table, help yourself.